we use to get somebody out of a vehicle. Unfortunately, we do this too often. We're getting pretty good at it. I can think of right off the top of my head a couple of them very recently. Unfortunately, some of those involving young people. The whole point of today is just to make you think before you go out, and I'm sure probably most of you, half of you are drinking age. So, you know, if you're going to go out and have some drinks, just be smart about it. It's not worth getting hurt or hurting somebody else, okay? So watch what's going on here today. Maybe you'll learn something from it. I'm going to talk a little bit here and there throughout it. I'll give you some details, but for a lot of it, it's just kind of important to just watch and see what's going on.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get into like that back area. I'll meet you up at the front. Yeah. You are going to go ahead and crush the pickup while they're sitting in there, right?
Correct,
okay.
Correct. Has anybody here ever been involved in an accident where they had to do an extrication? Anybody here? Oh, that's good. That's good. Does anybody have any questions as we start? Anybody have any questions? So all this equipment that we have is paid for by your tax dollars. It's meant to be really efficient and quick. When you look over there, a lot of our extrication equipment is set up so it comes right out. There's hose reels. Everything's pre-plumbed so that we can get somebody out very quickly. They're going to take a little bit more time just to kind of set up. Because this is a drill, we also don't want to have our own guys get hurt, or we don't want to injure the students that are inside here. This system is a hydraulic system that builds up thousands of pounds of pressure and applies that pressure to just really sharp tips so that we could literally cut this truck in half if we wanted to. Today what they're going to do for you is kind of do a full extrication, which means they're going to take both doors off. They're going to cut the A and B post, which is the windshield in the back of the truck here. They're going to take the roof off, and then they're going to do something called a clamshell or a dash roll. A lot of times in a frontal impact, the patient's legs are trapped either under an engine, or they're wrapped up in the brakes or the mechanisms on the front of the vehicle, and so we have to create some space there, and we have to roll the whole dash. Every piece of equipment in the city of Ventura, fire engines and our truck, we have paramedics with advanced life support. So we can start IVs, we can intubate, start airways, they can push medications. So every piece of equipment, you'll see it even says paramedic on the side of our truck. We have a paramedic on our truck. Our paramedic today is Matt Clapsaddle. He's in the back. He would be in charge of patient control. So he's going to make all the patient decisions as far as what does that patient need to stabilize? Does that patient have some sort of a penetrating injury? Does that patient, are they bleeding out? Do you need to control airway control? In auto extrication, a lot of times you just have injuries to your neck or your back, C-spine injuries, and we're going to do everything we can to prevent the patient from having a permanent disability because of that injury. So that's why we're always really careful with keep your back straight, and put C-tie on you, or use a tread or a backboard, keep alignment in your spine so we can get you to a hospital and get an upgrade done. Did you guys hear me okay? Maybe you have any questions, raise your hand and I'll... What's the fireman with the black helmet? Is that a package? That's a good question. In the city of Ventura, we have 4 different color helmets. The black helmet is the engineer, so generally that's going to be a tool operator, driver of the vehicle. That means driver pump operator, black helmet. The red helmet means captain. That's generally who's in charge of the piece of equipment, like on the truck. So you have a red helmet, in charge, black helmet, who's actually driving and operating equipment. Then you have yellow helmet. Yellow helmet is a firefighter paramedic. So that's who's doing all the work. We really like those guys. So they're the hands-on dragging hose, going in the truck for fire, medical. Usually the highest medical expertise guys are paramedics. We also have a white helmet, and those would be our chief officers. They would have overall scene control. Good question. Any other questions? Question, thumbs up, throw your hand up, I'll give you the mic. So we have one person here that was executed from a vehicle, and I think I would do a pretty fast. So if you look at the firefighter with the gigantic mustache and the black helmet, that's Grant Olson. He's one of our new engineers. He's truck certified and passed. What he's doing is he's pushing the front fender and he's creating a gap or a bite area that he can get the clips in so that he can start working on the door to separate it. So when you create that space, you pinch the fender. It's one of the techniques that you see. Pulling up right now that there's usually a lot of drinking. What holiday is that? Yeah, spring break, we got third parties, we have a lot of days coming up where, you know, you guys are going to have an opportunity to go out and enjoy yourself, hopefully, but let's make sure you guys don't get in any trouble, okay? Be safe. Situation, everybody has a function. It's depending on the helmet color. You're given a specific task that you're in charge of either stabilizing the vehicle, or you're going to be petting it, or you're going to be seizing, or you're going to be a tender. And you'll notice that they're getting things done fairly quickly, but there's just generally, there's not a lot of running around the vehicle. It's kind of sides and kind of just work together as a team to do as efficient as possible and safe as possible. Kind of choreographed. We've been on scenes before where the vehicle is upside down and covered in fuel. And so we'll also have, and that's in fire engine that's on scene, we'll pour a protection line so that if we have a flash, we can get water on not only our victims, but the rescuers in that scenario. If I ask you guys to raise your hand and say, hey, have you guys ever been in a car that's on fire that's turned the inside of it? Everybody here will raise their hand. you can see one patient was already extricated as the passenger side of the vehicle. Depending on the presentation of the vehicle and who is more serious, we'll generally try to get the more serious person out first. But sometimes that's not possible because the other victim is in the way, and they may not be injured as much because we have to pull the minor injury out first, get them on the back road and get them through so we can work on our immediate patient. One comes to my mind about 5 years ago on PCH up near Fort Beach. Two young kids were actually down the road to college and got their truck pulled out in front of them, and they ran into this truck at about 50 miles an hour. Probably the speed limit down there. And we had one minor got out of the way as quickly as he could, but the other patient, the driver, he had really severe injuries, broken spinal, broken wrist, he had a lot of injuries. They have not been drinking enough. They were at a family event, they were just on their way home and they're back on the bus. So what he's doing down below is he's creating kind of a purchase point for the tool, and he's also kind of like, I call it breaking the back. He's kind of weakening the overall structure of the vehicle so that in a little bit here they can try to roll the entire front of How do you guys think they're doing? Are they doing okay? Good, man. That's okay. So as soon as we can, we always try to get a firefighter in the vehicle with the patient. The tools that we're operating, if we're not careful with them, we can really injure somebody. So these guys put themselves between the tool and the patient a lot of times. They'll put their hand actually, and if the tool's cutting the door, I'll put my hand right between the leg of the patient and the door to make sure that I can feel what's going on there. I'm obviously not sticking my hand in the way of the tool, but I'll feel if while during the cutting, the door or the tool is coming into the cab and is possibly going to further injure our patient. So, you know, these guys are putting themselves in harm's way. We have a firefighter, for example, in the cab right now. We had a question, how often do we train on auto extrication? When we're first certifying somebody, we'll go through a task check. So we get a new firefighter to the station, and that task check has to be completed within a year. During that year, we'll spend 8 to 10 shifts going specifically on auto extrication. The task check covers a lot of other things like aerial operations and hose appliances and forcible entry and vertical ventilation, but we'll spend 8 to 10 shifts specifically on all the tasks necessary and all the positions for somebody to be able to do an auto extrication. It takes a while, but it's a very important skill to have. During the year, we'll also just throw in about for auto extrications for the rest of it, for us to be able to stay on top of it. We just want to be fluid, right? We want you guys, if they unfortunately get strapped, we want to be able to get you out. That's our job. We want to be really good at it. Good. Good question. Good. That's it. Thanks for coming out and watching, you guys. Remember, if you stay to the end, what are they getting if they stay to the end? So on this call, they determined that to get the patient out safely, they had to take the entire roof of the car off here. So they're kind of working as a group. They're putting their hands on the roof. They don't want to cut this thing and have it fall down on the patient, right? So they're kind of talking to each other. All right, hey, you go grab the other side. They're just having a conversation. When you're doing this, you got to make sure and cut through everything: seat belts, electrical wiring, molding, whatever happens to be in there that might hold, the windshield. Got to cut through everything so that thing comes off clean. Now the question is, wouldn't taking out the steering column give you more room? Absolutely. If it was in the way and they felt they needed to do that, they could do it. And the large cutters that we have would literally cut right through it. It'll cut up to, I think, the 1 inch diameter steel. And you're going to see what they're going to do right now, though, to make more room. It's called rolling the dam. Yes, if we ever delivered a baby. Has any of you guys ever delivered a baby in a vehicle? There's one. That's an excellent question. He asked, what if our hydraulic pump breaks down? So if you look inside there, under the blue hose, there's another, it looks like a little Honda motor. That's our backup. So that's a great question, right? If we're doing something, if it's going to fail, have a backup plan. What this is our engine has to be running, and then if we turn on a generator, power from our engine, and then our Hamacho equipment is an electrical hydraulic motor. So we have to have all three of those on. So if any of those systems fail, for whatever reason, different hydraulic system, but yeah, the same engine, yeah, different hydraulic system. But good question. So what if our secondary system breaks, or what if we have a very large incident? A lot of us are trained on a truck. Matter of fact, all of us are trained to use our capacity, urban search and rescue. So if that's busy, and the smaller one is busy, and all those tools are busy, Junior owns a Sawzall. Sawzall? I'll tell you what, you can cut a car apart with a Sawzall. So if we have to, we have 2 Sawzalls on the truck. We'll grab the Sawzall. If those are busy, we have pry bars, we have axes, we have other forcible entry tools that we can use. Good question. So hey, look at that. We have a backup plan. You guys have backup plans in your life for other stuff? Yeah? Your car breaks down, you got a cell phone with you, got water in your car, maybe a little snack, if you're on the road somewhere. Yeah. Okay, it's 11:07. It took about 22 minutes from start to finish to extricate 2 victims and pretty much totally dismantle the car. What do you guys think? They doing a good job there? Okay, again, the whole point of today, you guys, was this was for you. So maybe think about that when you're out having fun with your friends. I like to have fun. All these guys like to have fun. We know you do too. Have fun, but just be safe. Taxi, Uber, call a parent, call your friend. That's way cheaper than a DUI ticket or a hospital bill, okay? So you guys go out there and be safe.